What is going on, everybody? This is another analysis of a game from the Madden 17 Club Series Championship. This time, this is the semifinal match between Misery and Killermike. Killermike knocked off the 1 seed True Boy to get into this game, whereas Misery came in as he's probably expected to make it this point. He's a good player, so it'll be interesting to see if the Dark Horse Killermike can keep his run alive. If you guys watch the event, you already know the answer, but let's go ahead and get right into it. Killermike on offense with the Seahawks, whereas Misery on defense with the Steelers. Mike comes out single back, ace pair twins. He likes going in this formation. I think in the first game I broke down, I don't think he threw the ball a single time out of this formation. So that's definitely knowledge that Misery can use, tendencies to recognize for him when Mike comes out in this formation. Misery on defense and that nickel. He likes to stick in either nickel or dollar. It's basically the only two formations you'll see Misery in. But let's get right into it. First drive of the game, Killermike runs this HBA's power, Tevin Coleman. He was running this play a lot on offense whenever he'd come out in that ace pair formation. And it always looked like it was about to get blown up in the backfield, but he would always squeak out some decent yardage. So I like that play. So gun wide trips here for Mike. This is kind of Mike's more passing formation. And already right here, quick recognition from Mike on the sideline. You'll see Misery sends the corner blitz from this right side out here. This corner right here is going to come off the edge. Mike actually realizes this super quickly and delivers a ball. Before this is actually a 3-deep shell right here. Everybody kind of rotates over like cloud coverage. But Mike delivers the ball quick enough before this defender right here can clamp down onto this streak route. So good recognition by Mike, and that's something Misery is going to have to keep in mind. Maybe an adjustment you could see Misery making would be possibly sliding the safety out a little more to make him already in a better position to defend against that quick throw. But then if Misery were to do something like that, you have to think about, that's kind of a tell to Killermike, hey, I'm probably blitzing this guy off the edge, and I'm sliding this guy out to compensate. So that's an adjustment, but then it's an easy tell for Mike. So maybe Misery starts doing that, on every play, regardless if he's blitzing that guy. So it remains a guessing game, and he is able to still run this play and have this safety here in good position to make a play on the ball. So good read right there from Killermike on the second play of the game. Coming out looking sharp. Goes back, single back, ace pair. HB dive, it looks like, right up the middle. Coleman gets about 6. Back to wide trips. These are basically Killermike's main two formations. He likes this wide trips. Now he likes this motion, and right here I paused it on the perfect spot when it showed the routes. He likes this motion. He was doing this a lot against True Boy, where he would motion this tight end over from right to left to block this nickelback coming off the left edge. True Boy was running a similar buck slant 3 setup. It's very similar to nickel normal. It's nickel 3-3-5 Sam out of the 4-6 playbook, but the same concept still applies, that left edge pressure. So Mike was doing this to pick up that left edge, and what he would do, he would run a variety of plays, but right here this was a play he liked to do where he really stretched the middle of the field with what he'll end up doing is he'll hot route Chad Johnson to a slant route. He's on an in right now. He'll put him on a slant to kind of get him out there a little quicker than an in route would be and to give him a little more depth. And then what he would do is he'll have this in route on the backside, and then obviously you see Randy Moss running the deep post route. So you have almost 3 levels over the middle of the field, really stretching a lot of players who like to user the middle of the field. A lot of guys will just rely on their user skills to cover the entire middle. And so this really puts them in a stretch position where you have 3 different guys at 3 different depths at 3 different times crossing over the middle of the field. It really stretches that user. Right here, Mike shows good patience. I think that's a good read. Kind of got an unfortunate animation from Randy Moss there, and the ball got broken up while he was in the air. So, but I don't mind that read. I think that was a good read. All right, here, 3rd and 5. Misery goes to dollar for the first time. And now this is something Killermike ran against True Boy in the first game that Misery has to take account for. Is now Misery came out in this dollar. So basically everybody knows dollar, you're either in DB Fire 2 press or Stinger, right? So it's either going to be man coverage or it's going to be a 2 deep shell. So Mike probably realizes this and goes to this play that he likes to beat cover 2 out of this wide trips. And it's PA wide receiver in, and what he likes to do is he'll streak Jordan Cameron, he'll put Julio on an in route, and then he'll have Chad Johnson wheeling up the sideline. And what this does is it stretches this deep safety right here. And what will happen is, since Jordan Cameron is the immediate threat, the safety will sink more to the inside and play Jordan Cameron, and that'll open up Chad Johnson on the outside once he passes up the depth of that flat zone. So this is something that Mike likes to do against this cover 2, as you see he has it set up, and something Misery needs to adjust for, whether it be manning up Chad Johnson so that that wheel doesn't get into play. He could possibly man up Jordan Cameron and spotlight Chad Johnson so that, you have that man-to-man defender on Jordan Cameron, spotlighting Chad Johnson. The safety will go and play that wheel route better or make some type of adjustment. In this case, I don't believe Misery makes the right, no, he doesn't make the right adjustment. He ends up, what happens is it looks like he rushes 3 out of this, but what he does is, instead of manning up, say, this man above Chad Johnson onto Chad Johnson, what he does is he mans up him onto Julio, and he mans up Night Train on the backside all the way to Chad Johnson. So while pre-snap it might look like, oh yeah, he's probably got a lot of stuff covered, since they can't run anything over the middle because both defenders have inside leverage. Running to the outside, it's kind of hard to squeeze stuff in. You got the safety. Misery's going to be using over the middle. He's going to probably use that Jordan Cameron route initially. So, but because Night Train was so far away on the opposite side of the field from Chad Johnson, and Chad Johnson just ran the perfect route in this situation for for Killermike rather, to be running, literally he's running to the polar opposite of where Night Train is at on the field. Chad Johnson is running to this area over here, and Night Train is way over here. So it's literally all the way across the field and diagonally from where Night Train's at. Best possible route for Chad Johnson to be running for Killermike, and worst possible guy to have manned up on Chad Johnson for Misery right there, other than the corner all the way to the left, which nobody mans that guy up. So good read, good play right there from Killermike. Something that Misery's going to have to adjust to in the future if he wants to keep coming out in that dollar and kind of, I guess, giving out that information that he's probably running some type of cover 2 shell, since that's what everybody likes to do out of that dollar. So 7-0 for Killermike. Misery comes out on offense. He likes running this gun bunch. Mike runs the 4-6 on defense. 4-6 normal. Looks like Misery's going to go with the flood concept here. Got the flat open. Doesn't throw it. And he's probably going to throw this away. Yeah, he throws it away. So right there, first play, I don't mind it. Maybe he was trying to hit a shot. But right here, this would have been the read. The out route to Randy Moss right there was open. This man, you could see from him still backpedaling right now. He's not in a hard flat. He's probably in a cloud flat. So that's something that, it's not a big deal missing it on the first play, and something Misery could come back to later on a more crucial, maybe 3rd and 5, something like that, where an out route will get you a first down if Killermike doesn't clamp down. Second down goes to the run, try to pick up something, 3rd and 8. Gun bunch right this time.
$500,000 championship.
Yeah, and if you're Stevie J watching this game at home.
And what Killermike likes to do real quick is he runs this 4-6. A lot of people will run the 4-6 normal and just sit in cover 2 invert, rush 3 or 4. But Mike actually likes to send pressure out of this 4-6 formation. And he'll do it using these two guys right here. This man on the left and then this man on the right. And he'll alternate. He'll send one of them. He'll send both of them. Sometimes he'll send neither of them. So a very multiple defense. He mixes up his coverage shells in the back end. He'll go cover 2 invert. He'll go fire zone 3, which is a 3 deep shell. So definitely very multiple, very varied in his defensive setups, and I think that definitely helped him out a lot in this tournament. Right there, Misery makes the good read, goes with the out route. As you see right here, what happens is, it looks like if, say, for example, Killermike's in a cover 2 invert, this man right here would usually be charged with guarding the flat. Well, as you can see right here, Killermike blitzed him, so the flat responsibility essentially falls to Killermike's user, which is right here over the middle. Since, say this is a cover 2 invert, in almost all cases, the outside defender in a 4-3, this man is playing a deep zone, a deep part of the zone, in cover 2 invert and in cover 3. He's dropping back. So Mike blitzing that guy, dropping that guy back. The flat falls to Killermike in this case. Killermike gets distracted for a split second and then actually catches it pretty quickly. As you see, he already sees what's happening. Granted, Misery threw the ball. He was at least in the area, had a shot at clamping down. Marcus Allen ends up trucking Paul Krause and picking up the first. So good read from Misery, really good recognition right there. As you see from the previous play right here, fire zone 3 for Killermike. So you see what happened was he blitzed that outside purple defender, and the flat fell to him, and he wasn't able to get there in time. Misery back, gun bunch left, setting up some type of verticals right here.
Get some legend players like Marcus Allen, like Paul Krause.
So I like this, what Misery did. I like the read. I like the check down. Good read by Misery. But I like what Misery did right here. He recognized the cover 3 shell from Killermike. Now, granted, Killermike, it looks like he switched it up. Looks like this is cover 2 invert right here. But what Misery was trying to set up here was he ran a comeback route on this sideline along with a deep crossing route from this A receiver, as you'll see right there. He's running across the field. And what this will do against a cover 3 setup is this deep defender on the right side that's charged with playing this part of the field right there, he'll get confused, I guess, and clamp down onto this comeback route. And then the middle defender right here, in this case, say it was this man. If Mike would have been in cover 3, this man would be charged with playing the middle. Well, he would play the middle, but eventually Misery's receiver, this A receiver, would cross his face and get into this open territory right here, wide open. And it's essentially a one-play touchdown against cover 3. So that's the setup behind what Misery was going for. Misery actually had a really good setup, as you see the comeback deep cross, but then he gave himself check down opportunities, as you see right there with Marcus Allen on the comeback. And he's got Randy Moss. Good read right there. Defender sits on Marcus Allen's comeback. Misery makes the read. Mike's just a fraction of a second too low, or too slow rather. Misery picks up the first down. So a couple really good reads right there for Misery. So 2nd and inches, gun 2 back. Pretty much everybody who runs this formation is going to either run a power O, which as you see right there, or an HB draw. That's basically the 2 most popular plays I've seen out of there. Almost everybody runs it. I don't know if I've even seen somebody throw the ball out of that formation yet this tournament. So gun left, 1st and 10. Misery putting together a nice drive. It goes back to the flat, as I talked about on the first play of the game, or Misery's drive rather. Good read right there. Goes with a bench concept and stretches the flat zone, and as you see, the flat zone dropped way too far back to come up and make a play on that flat, and so Mike's going to have to recognize that and know Misery has that in his arsenal and either start playing, you know, double flats on the outside, hard flat, cloud flat, or make some type of other adjustment that he thinks will be able to stop that route combo. So gun bunch left right here. Mike sends the pressure. Nice read by Misery again. Mike sends 6, it looks like. Yeah, sends 6. Mike, with his user, gets really aggressive, actually clamps down on this delayed slant route, which a lot of people like to instant throw. Like, they see a blitz and they're like, oh, this is going to be open, instant throw. Misery, really good patience, knows that he's got time to sit. Granted, this guy's screaming at him, but as you see, Mike over-pursues. Misery identifies the open crossing route over the middle of the field and picks up 17. So great read right there for Misery. Now in the red zone, in this gun tight offset tight end. So now you know he's running the Rams playbook. This is the only playbook that has both gun tight offset tight end and gun bunch. Goes inside zone, picks up 0. 2nd down, looks like a high point to Jimmy Graham, and he picks up the touchdown. So let's see how this happened right here. Let's see, it looks like, so Mike's still in 4-6. Okay, so it looks like cover 2 invert, and what happened here was you see this defender, this was the deep safety, immediately turn and take off running. This is a clear tell that Mike manned him up on this man right here. And so what that did was it allowed for, since it's a cover 2 invert, these are your 2 deep zones right here. This man and this man are dropping into the deep zones. You have nobody playing in this deep middle part of the field right here. So Misery recognizes this, recognizes the safety immediately running to the left, and puts a nice high point to Jimmy Graham. And I can actually, what Killermike was actually probably predicting is what Misery ran. It looks like Misery ran Z-spot here. So Mike actually had his defense set up to defend this play. He just didn't take into account, either didn't take into account or thought he had it defended, was this tight end seam streak. Because he manned up. The only reason I could think that you would man up this safety on this receiver right here is if you thought he was going to be running a post over the middle, which actually he was. He just didn't account for the backside streak. So in practice, or in theory, good setup for Killermike to stop this play. Just the execution, he was just a little slow on that deep streak high point to Jimmy Graham right there. So nice read from Misery. So really great first drive from both players, in my opinion. I don't think either of them are playing bad defense by any means. They both just made some really good reads right there.
Which worked for him early.
Lower the volume a little bit. Okay. So Misery's still in this dollar. Mike, gun wide trips. Anticipating pressure on off the right side, maybe.
91 overall.
You see the setup of his play right there.
Rodgers looking, goes out
and he gets a rocket catch to Randy Moss. So I actually threw this ball a little late right here. As you see, snap of the ball. Misery just has nobody over here. You can tell this guy right here is in a deep zone because of how he's turned and running. If he was in a flat, he wouldn't be turned like that. He'd be like sitting with his, he would be facing the quarterback. So you could tell nobody's going to be there to undercut this C route. So Mike actually could have just thrown the ball right here, and it would have been, you see Misery realizes this and is kind of running to the location, just a little too slow. But Mike actually throws this ball probably about a second late and gets a pretty fortunate animation right there. That doesn't happen all the time. A lot of the time your receiver will either get a toe tapping animation on the sideline, or sometimes his momentum will carry him out of bounds and you won't get a catch at all. So a little late on the read from Mike, still worked out for him though. 2nd and 5. Gun wide trip. So as you see, every time he goes down to that single back ace pair of twins, he gets, 5 or so yards and puts himself in the very manageable 2nd and 3rd down situations, which I like the strategy from Killermike. Right here, a little bit of a dangerous read right there. Something to note, he had this running back wide open, leaking out the backfield. Granted, it's a super tight window. I mean, he's got 2 guys crashing down on him. He's got to make a quick read. But that is something to keep in mind, is if we watch this play again, watch how, okay, so you see Z Farrell's actually calling out the blitzing defender. You see the cut block from Tevin Coleman. Well, what that'll do is, okay, Tevin Coleman cut blocked the defender, so you have time against the pass rush, or against the blitz, unless a block shed, which right here a block shed's actually happening. So you picked up the blitz, but obviously pass rush is going to get there eventually. But what'll happen is on that cut block, the defense will basically completely forget about Tevin Coleman, who's right now on the ground. So Mike had him on a block and release route at the backfield. So once Tevin Coleman stands up, he's going to leak out to the flat. So that's something just to keep in mind. Even if he gets a cut block and is on the ground, if you have time in this situation, Killermike might not have had time. He's already thrown the ball. It would have been really, really close. But just keep in mind, when he does do that cut block, he will stand up and still leak out, in case you do have enough time, and like Misery right now, has nobody playing in the flats. But Mike ends up squeezing it in there, picking up about 4, it looked like. So 3rd and 1. Interesting, he's in this wide trip, so you got to think probably an aggressive defense here for Misery. And Misery does run spinner, it looks like, and Mike has the perfect route. Chad Johnson on a post against Lonnie Ballantyne. That's a touchdown every single time. So right here, Misery runs spinner, sends 6. Misery, 3rd and 1, playing the situation, users the short middle of the field. Mike, super patient, sees that he's got the blitz picked up, sits in the pocket. Misery using the short middle. Mike goes over the deep middle for the big play, for the touchdown. So I love the play call right there for Mike. And the awareness, knowing, okay, 3rd and 1, I can still take a shot here if the defense allows it for me. And that was good by Misery playing the situation. A lot of people would have done the same exact thing, send the house, play everything short. Mike just so happened to have the perfect route dialed up for the situation. 14-7 here, about midway through the second. Misery back on offense, 2nd and 8, gun bunch left. Gonna look to motion Randy Moss. Looks like this same setup here with the the comeback route on the right side, and then the deep crossing, and then the in route from Randy Moss, and the check down to Marcus Allen. So good check down right there for Misery. The pressure got in from Killermike. Misery goes gun, normal, offset. Like, gives it off to Marcus Allen, picks up 8, 2nd and 2. Gun bunch right here. So 2nd and 2, you have a lot of things available here. You can take a shot. You got 3 downs to get 2 yards. And it looks like Misery is going to do just that. And that's a touchdown to Chad Johnson. So that's actually the play I went over earlier. Just flipped and a slight wrinkle. Instead of motioning over, beforehand he had been motioning over this receiver right here, so Larry Fitzgerald would have been motioned over to about right here. This time he adds in the wrinkle and motions over the tight end, and what he does is it looks like he goes with still the core of the concept. As long as you have these routes, this comeback and this deep cross, and you need to have a receiver running over the middle to carry that deep safety. So in this case, he runs this tight end, which, by the way, I love this motion at a gun bunch. This tight end, if you motion him, and as he's getting set, snap the ball, he actually gets a little speed burst off the line of scrimmage, which can be really tough to defend for a variety of reasons. If your opponent's playing a really aggressive defense, you can high point that ball very easily to that tight end right there. It's really hard to user cover because of the speed burst. So I love that motion from Misery right there. But same concept, come back on the left, deep cross, streak, take the deep defender, and then he's probably got a backside like in route little check down. So right here you see exactly what happens. The comeback route, Paul Krause out here playing the deep third. The deep part of the field is Paul Krause's responsibility, but you see the comeback route breaks. Paul Krause breaks down onto the comeback route, and this receiver, who Mike actually had manned up, but just ended up outrunning his defender, sits into that really tender area behind Paul Krause's zone, and it's a one-play touchdown. So great setup from Misery, great wrinkle right there to kind of disguise what he wanted to do, and just overall great play. So 14-all, and Mike comes right back. Misery ran commit right there on 1st and 10. Now, something interesting, I said this, I think, as soon as the game started, Mike, I don't think he'd ever passed the ball out of this formation. So, love the play call right here from Killermike. Misery just had a big play, come out in a formation where you haven't passed the ball all tournament. You know Misery's going to be expecting a run. Maybe you get a run commit, and that's exactly what happened. Mike goes for the big play to punch Misery right back in the mouth, and Misery takes the bait. He sees it, gets out there just a fraction of a second too late with his safety, looks like Maurice Alexander, and one-play touchdown right back for Killermike. Wow, that was crazy mind game right there. Crazy mind game from Killermike. So back up 7, like Misery's big play never even happened. Goes to the FNB Monster special right there. The PA shot seams at a gun tight offset tight end. Hits the drag route. So gun bunch left actually lost a yard right there. So 2nd and 11. Motions Larry Fitzgerald over to that same motion. Looks like the same play, and this time he checks it down to Marcus Allen for 5. Right there you saw same concept. You got the deep crosser. This man's running a comeback, and then I think this man's on a streak underneath. Misery did the good, made a good read right here, noticing that, he's got the blitz coming out the left side, so he knows he's not going to have time to let this deep A route develop, so he goes with the check down to Marcus Allen. So good read right there, not trying to force anything, not trying to get, some people, after something like that happens where you run commit and they get a one-play touchdown, some people come right back and try to get it all back in one play, but you have to stay composed, play your game. And Misery definitely did that on that down right there. So same motion to the left side for Misery.
He brings off that right edge, it comes in clean. Roll out now, and now you're
looks like nobody's open. Oh man, okay. I don't know what that was. Let's see. Okay. So Mike's got everything locked up. Good defense right here. Just nothing open. The only thing I can think right now is if Misery was expecting, obviously right here, if you look at Mike's defense, there's nobody in this area. The only thing I can think is Misery was expecting this receiver right here to come and cut over the middle of the field. But in this case, I think that's too risky to rely on the AI to cut into the open part of the field. You just got to throw the ball away right here. You got two guys clamping down on you. At least he sets his feet. I guess that's something. But still throwing on the sideline across the field with two guys barreling down on you and ends up throwing a crucial interception. That hurts a lot because now Mike's in field goal range already with 50 seconds left in the half. First down, looks like Mike runs spinner. Mike hits him over the middle, or Misery runs spinner rather. Misery hits him over the middle with a seam route. So first and goal with 40 seconds left. HB stretch, and Mike walks in untouched. So that's such a huge momentum shift right there. And it's just those small plays, you know, one mental mistake by Misery right there. Should have thrown the ball away. Instead, takes a gamble and ends up, you know, giving Mike 7 points.
Seconds. But you got to play the clock right here.
And you will get the ball at half.
So right here, looks like similar setup. And Mike just sending the gas at him. Misery has to throw it away, taking intentional grounding.
It's not arbitrary. I am.
2nd and 21 here.
He's a scientist, so you can't dispute anything he says.
Untight offset tight end. See what Misery's going to dial up here. I mean, at this point, it looks like he tried to run like a pseudo 4 verticals here. It actually kind of worked. I kind of like this route combo. You know, you got the streak, you got this seam down here. He streaked this man, and then this man's running deep quarter. So it is basically 4 verticals. I think this is obviously a much better play call against a cover 2 shell. Mike happened to be running cover 3, so none of these routes were really open. And I think at this point you just got to take it to half if you're Misery. 3rd and 24 at your own 11. Okay, checks down. Almost gets sacked at his 1. And ends up punting it. So, yeah. And it's probably halftime. See if Mike can pull off the miracle swerve here. And he runs the ball. Okay. So halftime, Mike up 14. Crucial mistake at the end of the half there for Misery. Could have driven in to tie it at 21. Instead, gives up 7. Makes it a 14-point game here. So coming out second half, 2nd and 10 for Misery. Gun bunch. Mike sends that pressure. And Misery can't pick it up. Mike sent 6. Mike did a good job. I like the aggressive user right here from Mike. None of Misery ran a lot of deep route concepts, it looks like. It looks like he's got streak, deep cross. And then Mike underneath, really muddy, playing both of Misery's shallow options here. So really has nothing.
Listen, when you run vertical routes, you're not going to have time in the pocket.
So 3rd and 10. Let's see what Misery tries to do here. I like. Well, let's see. See, you can't. He went for PA post here, and this was something Mike was doing a lot. Was he would send this guy off this edge, and he's using this man, so this left flat gets delegated to him. And obviously the blitz screamed right here, so Misery didn't even have a shot to make a play. But I would have liked to see Misery run more of that bench concept that you saw him run in the first half, that one play. On the first play of the game for him, it was open. The other time he ran it, he picked up 15. But he kind of went away from it. But that was very successful on this left side of the field because Mike likes sending this defender off this left edge, and the flat gets delegated to only Mike's user. So even if Mike is using that, if he sends this defender, he can only cover one of the routes, either the out or the corner, or even at a gun bunch, you can do something like at a gun bunch right here, out of this PA post play, you go C route, and then either you can leak Marcus Allen out the backfield, or if you want to block him, you can block him, you have the C route, and then you drag Jimmy Graham, and it still creates the same, because that tight end drag gets over there so quickly, it still creates the same stretch of the flat defender, where if it's a hard flat, he'll guard the drag, you hit the C route. If it's a cloud flat, he drops back to the C route, you hit the drag. I'd have liked to see him go to that concept more than what he did. It seemed like he kind of got enamored with the big play a little bit, and went away from a concept that could be effective against this Killermike defense. Because Killermike thrives, he loves sending pressure, he thrives on when he gets you in these long, 3rd and long situations where he doesn't have to worry about guarding the flat, you know? And Misery hits him with a swerve on 4th and 18. Goodness gracious, okay. So you see right there, paused it. Killermike clicks on, tries to make a play at the last second. Paul Krause just got slightly too mixed up here. Flat-footed, and that's Randy Moss. Gets a good animation, and you're not catching him. So Misery dug himself a hole. 4th and 18 hits the swerve, clutch swerve right there.
I've been getting out to lead super early
To really keep him in the game. I mean, he turns the ball over there. Mike's up 14 with a chance to go up 3 possessions, so that really was a very clutch swerve on 4th and 18 by Misery.
That's the key stat.
Mike back out, wide trips. And this is a nice little wrinkle I like that Mike runs off of this PA wide receiver in play that he likes to run. Earlier in the game, you saw him hit this for a touchdown, or it put him at the 1-yard line, I believe. Whenever he streaked this defender, he's got the wheel route against this cover 2, and the safety plays the streak, you hit the wheel. But in this case, what Mike did, nice wrinkle, instead of stretching the safety, he now stretched the flat defender. So he basically, what he said, he put this tight end on an out. He's got, this receiver clearing out over the middle, and then he's got Chad Johnson running this wheel route up the sideline. So this now stretches the flat defender. Okay, what do you do? Do you drop back and play the wheel? If so, I'm going to hit the out route to the tight end underneath in the flat. If you come down and clamp down on the out route by the tight end, I'm going to hit the wheel right behind you. So good wrinkle, same play, very similar concept, stretching 2 separate defenders from each setup. So I really like that from Killermike. That's really what Madden's all about, is identifying what defender do I want to, put into a no-win situation where he guards one route, I go to the other. And the more you can do that out of the same look, the same play, against multiple defenders, the harder it is to really adjust. Because you can see from the meta, as right there, Mike picks up about 7. As this year's developed, at the beginning of the year, a lot of people running those bench plays, to stretch that flat defender, whether it was a cloud flat or a hard flat. And what happened was a lot of people started adapting and running this double flat defense where you have a hard flat and a cloud flat. So then people started looking at other ways to stretch different defenders, whether it be over the middle, whether it be deep. And right there you see Mike, as he picks up another 4 or 5 yards from that single back ace pair. Out of that wide trips, he's able to stretch not only the safety but also the flat defender, which puts Misery into quite a bind, because if you allocate more resources to that flat, then Mike has the potential to hit you deep. But if you put defenders deep to not get, scored on in one play, then Mike shows that he has the potential to dink and dunk you into the flat. Right there, okay, Mike goes for the aggressive catch. He had the check down to the running back wide open out the backfield. You catch that turn up field, pick up probably about 15 yards. But it looked like he really wanted a big play.
Randy Moss gets it swatted away. That's nice
coverage. Corner comes in.
And good play by Misery's defender to swat it out of the hands of Randy Moss. So 3rd and 6 here. Big play for Killermike. Because you get a first down here, you pretty much get into field goal range. And I love the route concept. Love it. This is great against those nickel blitzes that people like to run, like Mills, where this setup where you shift your linebackers to the opposite side of the corner. You blitz both of them, so you send 6. He's got 4 linemen and then 2 blitzing off the edge. And basically you delegate. The only person who's using, or the only person you have defending the middle is your user. And so what's your inclination? If you're you put yourself in Misery's mind, you're setting up this defense. You're sending 6, you're using the middle. What side of the formation, the offensive formation, are you going to lean towards? You're going to lean towards, this trip side where you got 3 different receivers who have the potential, who knows, maybe, this tight end runs a seam route, you might have to use her that. This man runs a drag, you might have to come down, clamp down on that. So you're going to cheat towards the strong side of the formation that has more receivers. Mike realizes this and sets up a slant flat combo on the backside where Tevin Coleman runs a flat. Now this is risky. You have to get the ball out quick because you're, sending Tevin Coleman out on a route. So you're only blocking 5, maybe 6 if you block your tight end. So you send Coleman out on a flat and you have the backside slant. And so what happens is Misery cheats to the strong side, the trip side of the formation. Mike, once again, it's stretching this defender. Which one do you take? Do you run with the slant? I hit the flat If you sit on the flat, I hit the slant, and that's exactly what Mike did right here. As you see, the slant, or the flat defender, runs with the slant initially, but even if he kept running, he was already in bad position. Moss had him beat on the inside, but you see right here, he's peeling off right now to clamp down onto this flat route by Tevin Coleman. And Misery kind of in no man's land over the middle here. It looks like Mike just ran stock stick right there. Just stick stock. That's weird to say. But yeah, right there you see bottom right corner just stick. So I love that route concept against that type of heavy blitzing, you know, send it off both edges type of defense. So really good game offensively by both players right now. Like really good. Other than Misery's one mess up, really good game. Mike hits a C route against man-to-man right there. Good recognition.
Have you made a joke yet?
That's the.
I mean, your outfit's a joke.
Misery run commits again, and Mike hits him with a high point. So wow. Killermike, whoa, was that a blocked extra point? Looks like right there. But Killermike really just hitting Misery, or he really has Misery's number on these run commits. Inside zone, Misery hasn't really been able to get anything going on the ground. Picks up about 5 right there. Gun bunch right. Looks like PA post setup once again.
So we'll see if he can get a balanced attack. As long as he gets a score here, he's in great position for this.
Check down and see. That's what I was talking about last drive. He goes to the PA post, and what happens is he runs this this drag C route combo. You have the drag, and you got this route right here that's gonna run to the corner. And what it does is Mike likes blitzing this defender right here who's supposed to be guarding the flat. Mike actually completely over pursues with his user defender and is not in a position to guard either of the routes. And Misery realizes this, checks down, hits the drag, picks up the first down. That's definitely something. I mean, you're only down 13, you still have a quarter. You can still go to that concept. Like, you don't have to score super quick. You have a lot of time. So that's definitely something I'd like to see Misery pick up on and keep going through it until Mike clamps down and allocates resources to stop. Fortunate drop right there, but he probably would have got it lit up anyway.
That possession.
Donovan McNabb, the former Campbell's Chunky Soup front man, goes across.
Good read right there. Mike only rushed 3. Looked like he had everything deep locked up. Just the slant over the middle, 3rd and inches here.
All right, he's going
runs
to
the same
air.
setup.
The drag gets covered. Great job by Mike taking it.
Oh, wow. That was insane patience by Misery. That is like world-class patience. Okay, so here's what happened. So Misery runs this drag route right here, and Mike sees it. This is what Mike got beat on the last 3rd down. So Mike clamps down on the drag route, 3rd and inches again. Mike clamps down. So you see Mike takes away that. But Misery's got this post route over the middle. What 99% of players, including myself, would have done right here is I would have just thrown this post route right now, throw it into this middle part of the field right here, possession catch it, pick up 20, take the first down. What Misery does is Misery's even more patient. Misery says, I'm going to hold it because I know I have a streak route on this right side right here that's going to take this defender deep. So I know what's going to happen is whenever this man clears over here, he's going to have wide open field for me to throw this ball into. Misery with the patience knows Mike only rushes 3. He's got plenty of time in the pocket. Delivers a throw, perfect catch, perfect animation, turns upfield, touchdown. Insane for Misery right there. And it's the small things like that. You turn what would have been a good play, would have been a 20-yard completion and a first down into a 53-yard touchdown. Suddenly, bam, you're right back in the game. Not that he was ever super out of it, but down by 6. Mike goes back, single back, ace pair, picks up 4. Saw Misery right there, cover 4, so hedging a little bit there, not going with the run commit, but still running a defense that is suited to stop the run. And right there, great defense by Misery. Mike could not pick up the pressure, gets hit, sack, fumble, Misery recovers. So it looks like right here, Misery runs spinner, gets a free rusher. Mike blocks 6, but still looks like this left guard right here, if I can identify who didn't block anybody. Looks like this man got caught in no man's land. Looks like this defender's coming off the edge free. But Misery does a great job. Mike has a couple deep breaking routes that aren't able to develop. This corner route wasn't able to develop for him. Mike's got this backside post that can't develop. So the only quick routes that Mike has really are these underneath routes. Misery's doing a good job of being there and making Mike hesitate, and that's all it took was a split second to hesitate, and bam, sack fumble. Misery takes over at the 15. So it went from Misery down 13 like 50 seconds ago to now Misery down 6, about to and 9 yards away from taking the lead.
He blocked Mike's extra point.
It's single back doubles HP dive. I like it from Misery. You know, be patient in the red zone. You don't always have to go to the high point. Goal line for both players here. So this just seems like a coin flip to me when you run goal line against these defenses. Goes for the toss, and Jimmy Ward with the good containment can't get to the outside there, so he's probably got to take his 3. For me, if I were him, rather. And he does. So down 3, 3 minutes left. Got to get a stop here. Definitely can't let Mike score a touchdown. Really doesn't want to let Mike score at all, obviously. This Tevin Coleman, 77 overall gold Tevin Coleman, I believe, is playing insane for Mike, whether it be breaking tackles or falling forward or what. So Mike going into milk and cookies mode here. Fullback dive to Lonnie Pryor. Picks up 1, 3rd and 3. So Mike's about 2 first downs here from just winning the game. Great read from Mike. And that just goes back to what I talked about earlier. This is another wrinkle. You know, earlier what he did was out of this formation. Let's see if I can get a still of whenever Mike's in the formation before the snap of the ball. So what Mike did earlier to stretch this flat defender was he had this wheel route and this out route to stretch, or that's a funky out route. Let's see. This wheel route right here and this out route. And so what he would do was he would say, okay, you drop to play the wheel, I hit the out. You come down to clamp down on the flat, I hit the wheel. So what he does this time, another little wrinkle, same concept but just a wrinkle, is that he goes with a streak route on the outside and an out route from this defender, or from this receiver rather. And so it's still the same concept. You're still stretching this flat defender. You drop with the streak, I hit the out. You clamp down on the out, I hit the streak right behind you. And Mike's going to the wide side of the field, so he's got plenty of room on that side. So great identification of the situation by Mike here, knowing, okay, I got a lot of field to play with on the right side. And that's a concept that Misery hasn't adjusted to over the course of the game. Every time Mike has run a concept like that, on that right side of the field to those trips receivers that stretches that flat zone, Mike's been able to hit one of the routes. So it's something that Misery has just failed to adjust to over the course of the game. Something that I feel like Mike could feel very comfortable running in, clutch situations.
Will it be the slant? Will it be the fullback dive? We've seen him in this formation.
2nd and 5. Lonnie Pryor once again. That looks like a first down. Up 5. Was it a first down? Yes, it was. So Misery one timeout. So Mike 1 first down away from winning here. Spike dive again, picks up 1, it looks like. 2nd and 9. Ace Twins. He throws it, and it looked like, okay, I actually like this a lot. I can see the logic behind this. He might have been predicting a run commit from Misery, which if Misery run commits here, 2nd and 9, it's kind of a down where not a lot of people throw it. Usually people you think will throw it either on 1st down or 3rd down. 2nd down is usually a down where people like to play it safe, it seems, at least in my mind. But so he might have been thinking a run commit here. So he's got the streaks on the outside in case Misery did run commit, but he still gave himself the check down to the out route to the tight end in case it wasn't. That's exactly what happened. It looks like Misery's in a 3-deep shell, no run commit. But because Misery sent like 6 and he's in a 3-deep shell, he left the flats open. Great read to the out route. And it looks like he's about a yard short of the first, 2 yards short of the first. And he goes to the pass again and hits the out route to Julio for the first down. So yeah, insane game from both players. Both players played really well, in my opinion, in this game. Um, that's going to be the game. Mike's just going to take these and run the clock out. Both players played insanely well, in my opinion. Mike just seemed to have Misery's number on these run commits. I don't know if Misery ran commit one time when Mike didn't throw the football, which is insane. Like, predict because it was like 3 or 4 times this game where Mike happened to be throwing the ball when Misery ran commit. So insane preparation and prediction from Killermike. Insane game by both players. Like, hats off to both of them. Misery definitely shouldn't feel bad about playing this well. It was a really well played game. A lot of fun to watch and analyze. So until next time, guys. Next game I'm going to do will be the other semifinal between FMB Monster, aka PA Shot Seams, against IB Strafing. So that'll be out in a couple days. So until next time, guys, hope you enjoyed the video and take it easy.